had a training. The Airborne Division had an office called the ACS. It is like a community service. It was the Army Community Service. And I participated 2 days a week. I volunteered to help troubled people at this ACS office. So that was one thing in addition to my
And so that puts you as a volunteer position, a position of leadership.
Right, that was what I did at this ACS office. And then part of the ACS office, this is what I other did, was my Christmas toy drive.
All right, okay. So again, it's taking a leadership position in a volunteer place that's going to do,
Right.
That's going to do kindness.
Right, but that's, somebody else maybe wouldn't do that. But having a Jewish background in which volunteering and doing chesed
Right.
and things like that is such an ingrained part of us,
Right.
that it was like, that was what I sought to do. So finally I got a job working actually in the counseling center at Austin Peay University.
So your volunteer service paid off.
So they told me after a month on the job that they actually were not going to give me the job because they thought I was going to be too empathic to the people, and that I, would, like, people would come in with problems. I'd start to cry with the other students. That wound up being a whole other thing. But the other part of that was that we administered the GED. They proctored the GED there.
Yeah.
That also stood me in good stead, because to me, it's like there were people who dropped out of school to support their families, and now they were 30, 40, 50 years old coming to get a GED. So you don't know the simcha of telling somebody who left school in 8th grade that they've passed the GED and they're in their 50s. And I was talking to my cousin the other day, and she says, we were talking about paying a shiva kwal. And I said to her, I used to be very discriminant, but somebody once said to me, you were so kind, your words meant so much to me. So she said to me, it's interesting you say that, because people say that to me all the time. She says, it must be that we have such a personality. That's why we make those shiva kwals, because Hashem has given us a personality to have compassion, and our compassion comes across.
Yeah.
So I think in a certain way, these are just kind of parts of my personality. And I've selected roles which I'm very comfortable in,
right.
Whether it's helping somebody at the Army Community Service Center, whether it's the counseling center at the, the university.
So what advice would you give to women that are currently in that kind of environment?
Well, part of it is that you have to go a little bit with your personality. I was more gregarious and still I struggled.
So how about the one who's not gregarious, the quiet, reserved person? How is she to make it?
I would say that if there are clubs that, like I had joined, that's a nice way to do it. I would say to volunteer.
Mm-hmm.
There may be other things that I, now as an adult, I would think to look for that I didn't know of then. Maybe they had, people who you could visit at the hospital. I think part of it is just, you could sit at home or you figure out a way to fill your time doing something useful.
Right. But you have to be proactive.
Absolutely. You have to be able to go out. Now, probably a lot of that is online.
Mm-hmm.